General Douglas MacArthur once said, "Yours is the profession of arms, the will to win, the sure knowledge that in war there is no substitute for victory, that if you lose, the nation will be destroyed, that the very obsession of your public service must be duty, honor, country." Men and women take this oath freely every day. All who serve give some, but some give all. The brave men of the USS Indianapolis understood this more than most. On July 26, 1945, the USS Indianapolis, a naval flagship, completed one of the most important missions of World War II, transporting the first atomic bomb called Little Boy to U.S. forces on the island of Tinian under classified orders. Unaware of the purpose of this mission, the 1,197 men aboard the USS Indianapolis had in fact just successfully delivered one of the weapons that quickly brought World War II to an end. A great triumph for our nation that would not be witnessed by many of these fine men who share the honor and glory of America's victory. Tragically, while returning from their mission, the USS Indianapolis was torpedoed and sunk. Only 317 men survived. The biggest maritime disaster in naval history. This is their story. July 12, 1945, the Indianapolis was docked at Mare Island undergoing repairs from a kamikaze attack. That day, a mysterious order had been given to the captain and crew to immediately prepare for a secret mission. The abrupt change of plans rose suspicion throughout the men. Later on, the men were called to their stations.
We were a hot ship from the day that I got on it. We didn't know why, but we were being rushed to get back to the Pacific. And they took our starboard catapult off. Catapult is used to put airplanes into the air, pontoon type of aircraft. And we shot them off and they went into the air. They took off the starboard catapult, and in its place, what they did was brought on this great big container, and this caused a lot of buzz on the crew. With all this stuff, we had Marine guards around it.
July 26, 1945, the USS Indianapolis anchored on Tinian Island. The atomic bomb was safely unloaded. New orders had just arrived for McVeigh and his crew to proceed to Guam, where he would report to the naval base and be giving routing orders to Lady Island, where he and his men were to prepare for the invasion of Japan. The ship reached Guam on July 27th. Captain McVeigh was taken to SINCPAC headquarters and received his routing orders to Lady. He was denied an escort and was assured that one was not necessary. He was given the order to zigzag at his discretion in good visibility. This is a defensive maneuver where a ship will erratically change headings while moving along its course, making it more difficult to be targeted by an enemy.
We couldn't figure it out. Here we are, capital ship, and we actually were the flagship of the 5th Fleet, 3rd and 5th Fleet, and we didn't have any escort, and we were going 31 knots, which is unbelievably fast as far as ocean vessels are concerned. The 31 knots allowed the Navy to send us without any escort at all. So we sailed the Pacific without any escort.
Less than 2 days into the journey, around 12:04 a.m., 2 Japanese torpedoes hit the ship and chaos began. The first torpedo hit the right side of the forward starboard, blowing away the bow. The second torpedo hit near midship next to a fuel tank and a powder magazine, setting off explosions that knocked out all electrical power and sent fires throughout the ship. Captain McVeigh ordered a distress signal to be sent out, but could not confirm if anyone received it. At about 12:11 a.m., the captain gave the order to abandon ship. It took only 12 minutes for the ship to sink, with an estimated 300 men going down with it. The USS Indianapolis was now lost forever under the sea. For the men who survived the attack, a new battle was about to begin. The first day in the water was spent counting men and evaluating injuries. Although suffering great trauma, the men were optimistic, believing an SOS was sent out and their rescuers would arrive shortly. The next day, the sharks appeared, initially preying on the dead, but soon thereafter no one was safe. Men thrashed at the water, kicking madly, hoping to drive them away. Many were pulled under, never to be seen again. 3 freezing nights and 2 blistering hot days passed. Their spirits weakened. Hungry and thirsty, several men could no longer resist the temptation of salt water. Those who drank it suffered severe mouth and throat ulcers and experienced hallucinations, but somehow they continued on.
But prayer was the main sustaining motive, and you didn't find anybody in that water that didn't believe in God, I'll tell you. Because that was the only hope that they had, was that God was looking out for us.
August 2nd, their 4th day in the water. Their critical conditions worsened. Friends became enemies, mistrust was rampant, and fights erupted. Some lost the will to live. Others, determined to survive, realized they would not last much longer. The life jackets, saturated with water and oil, were quickly losing their effectiveness. That same afternoon, Lieutenant Wilbur C. Gwynn was flying his PV-1 Ventura bomber on anti-submarine patrol when he spotted something that appeared to be an oil slick. As he lowered the plane, he noticed groups of people waving at him. Gwynn ordered his men to begin dropping rafts, life vests, and other supplies. He radioed his base, reporting what he had just witnessed. A seaplane under the command of Lieutenant R. Adrian Marks was sent out to the scene to help. Destroyers and high-speed transporters also aided in the rescue. The men were forever grateful to their rescuers. However, they had endured so much, and their spirits were weakened. Survivor Paul J. Murphy even said, "I think it was a good thing knowing we were finally spotted. However, after 5 days with no food, no water, seeing so many shipmates die, we were so weak, I don't think we really cared. Sometimes it was like death was a welcomed friend." 321 men were rescued that day. 4 later died in the hospital. In the end, 317 men survived this horrendous ordeal. On Monday, August 6th, the Enola Gay departed from Tinian Island carrying Little Boy, headed for Hiroshima. At 8:15 a.m., Little Boy was dropped. The damage was precise and overwhelmingly effective. Little Boy, along with Fat Man, the second atomic bomb, which was dropped 3 days later on Nagasaki, brought a swift end to the war.
A message from the Japanese government which specifies the unconditional surrender of Japan. It is my earnest hope, and indeed the hope of all mankind, that from this solemn occasion a better world shall emerge out of the blood and carnage of the past. Let us pray that peace be now restored to the world, and that God will preserve it always.
Americans thronged the streets, celebrating the long-awaited VJ Day.
World War II, gratifying victories and agonizing calamities. The USS Indianapolis and its crew saw both. 1,197 ordinary Americans accomplishing extraordinary things. All of these men deserved the glory of America's triumph. They delivered the weapon that ultimately brought an end to the war. Yet tragically, most would not live to see this victory, as they died in the line of duty. Whether their journey ended in life or death, these men served their country honorably. They are my heroes. They are America's heroes. What do you want myself and others of my generation to remember about the Indianapolis?
Freedom isn't free.